One. All right. So again, today we're gonna do a bit of reflection on our journey in PEC 200. So we have me, Arif Shakir Irfan, and then we have Akif, Daniel, Alfie, Annette, and Alicia. So to start the reflection, I think it's gonna be me first. Um, so what's the journey in some ways that we learn and we has explore in PEC 200? For me, it's quite an interesting journey. I've been interacting with a lot of people, not just in this group, as well as some fews in outside of the group, especially in class. It's kind of intriguing in terms of seeing how people interact with each others and how people personality is. um but something that way more intrigued to me is, you know, a study on my own personality, on my own communication skills, especially with my teammate, with my group mate, everybody else in group one. So it's quite interesting. It's not easy at first, I would say, to interact with a lot of people you don't know, but throughout the months, it become a way easier, and it's become more and more engaging in some ways. Um, I would say some of the issues that I have, especially for my own, is that it's quite easy for me to get uninterested in the class, especially towards the end. I feel like I become more lazier and more um like I want to do things easier in some ways. I don't want to interact in too much, just give a simple answer and let's move on. I feel like that's mostly the reflection that I have when it comes to PC 200. So I pass on to Annette. Can you give a reflection?
All right, my turn. So for this subject, can you guys hear me? Berdengar tak?
Yes, we can. Reading up.
Okay. Okay, from this subject, I learned how to communicate well with my team members, and I get to know more about my classmates, and yeah. And I realized that for this subject, I interact more with my team members and classmates than I did in my previous PEC subject, which is the PEC 100 thinking skills. Yeah, so I also learned how to be upfront and state my opinion. And other than that, I also learned how to interact with people first, because normally I'm not the kind of person who will talk to people unless they talk to me first. Yeah, so other than that, the area that I need to develop further is my communication skills, obviously, because I'm still not used to interact with many people. Yeah, especially in front of our classmates during our activity. Yeah, we conduct the activity session. Yep. And what I like the most from this subject is my team, which is our group one. Yeah, you guys are really cooperative throughout this semester. Yep, and apa lagi ya? I think for the last one, the thing that I'm still have issues with is my confidence and me getting out from my comfort zone to try new things. So that's all for my reflection. I'm gonna pass it to anyone. Yep.
Nobody gonna go.
I'll go, I guess.
All right.
So, as for my reflection on PC 200 subject, communication skills, for the things I learned how to share my opinion with other people. And since we conducted some activities, like I learned how to give out instructions properly, and as well as listen to other people. For things that I'd like to improve, I think I should improve the modulation of my voice. Sometimes I feel like I speak too softly, and I need to be more clear with what I'm saying. It's a very eye-opening experience for me, being an introvert, being very shy. I obviously had to come out of my comfort zone when I conducted the activities. So I definitely liked being able to interact with my group mates as well as other members of my class. So that's all from my reflection on this subject.
All right, thank you, Akif. So, Alicia, you want to go?
Okay, Ken. So,
All right.
through this PC200, right, I have learned about, right, when in the communications, we need to straight talkings because for your information, conversation is the basis of the communications. Even a simple, friendly conversations with the friends also can build the mutual trust and even can detect the problem before the problem becomes a serious. Then for the second one is like, in the communications, I think listening also one of the important aspect of this skill. Like successful listening is not about understanding spoken or written informations, but also an understanding of how the speaker feel during the communications. And the third one is like, I think this one is most important, like emotional control, because the feeling also play a very important role. Making decisions more often affects the way you feel, that the way you think, guided by the emotions. Your non-verbal behavior affect the understanding of the other people's and how others understand and perceive you. So in this subject, what which I need to develop further, I think maybe I can aim to be like more active listener, and have more respond to other people, because I think I'm more to the introvert people, so I don't like to talk too much. Then the most things that I like these subjects is like, actually this subject is like very relaxing if compared with other subject lah. So for this subject, we just like we need to conduct activities and proceed it, but not individuals with group mates. Maybe have group mate can help us. So I think it's quite interesting. So but I'm afraid of some issue, like when outside, I don't know others will happen or not, but for me, the person like introvert, when I very afraid when if I talking with someone, suddenly my brain was stuck, and I always think that how can I manage that situations, but this situation just happen in some time lah. So I think that's all from me. So I pass to Afi or Daniel.
Okay, Emily. Okay, that's for reflection. I think maybe I become more confident than before. Also, know a lot of friends, can communicate better than before, because my English is just speaking to the other, not by grammar or the other. And with this BSc, we can see all of activity what we favorite or daily activity. Like my daily activity, it's not like you are can speaking English well, but my hobby is like cooking, like playing music or play game. But for speaking, I just can speaking just English only, not like well like you are. Also, if that's many, I am too silent because and can't to confidence well. It's so nervous, but actually in here I can believe I can confidence than before. Okay, maybe that's only for me. Okay, for the last Daniel, maybe.
Yeah, for me, my experience with PEC this semester is that I learned a lot during this PEC session, such as the way to communicate either with your group mate or friends when doing activities. So like you have to kind of communicate with them to complete some objective during the weekly activities. And I also learned how to organize activities. Usually it's not like very common of me to like do activities with a lot of people. So it's kind of new to me, even though we have PC every semester, but it's not very common to do activities like this. So I kind of learn what to do and what not to do when organizing activities. And I also learn how to like manage my time, but it's still in the process, but I'm still learning how to manage my time. Like that there are other subjects that I need to give my time, but I also have to give my time on this subject. So I also learn how to manage my time. So what's new and surprising to me is that the activity is done weekly because it's a new way. It's not a new way, but it's kind of new for me to connect with people. Usually the way I connect with people is like by playing games um, or by chatting online. But during this PEC, I learned how to connect with people like directly, I guess, with my group members, with other people. So it's kind of new for me to experience a new way to connect with people. And what areas that I need to develop further is mostly on time management and also communicating, I guess, because like time management, yeah, like I said, I'm not very good at time management. So like I need to improve on that part. So I think that's all from me for my experience in this PC.
All right, thank you, Daniel. So I hear a lot of reflection from a lot of people, a lot of you guys. For example, Daniel again about time management. Alicia about about being being emotionally controlled. Akif, I think about about being being courageous in some ways. Alfie, her challenges especially is about trying to communicate in English well. uh, Annette is trying to be more courageous in doing a lot of more physical activities. Is that what I think it is? All right, so I think that's all for our reflection. I hope that even though we finish with our PEC 200, we can still connect with each other, probably see in MSU sooner or later. So, okay, guys, that's all. Thank you again. Right.